Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Mike Cummins. I'm a senior technical architect at Bedroq. Today I'm going to be doing a law enforcement webinar about our product Bedroq Seek, which is live video analytics and retrospective video analytics powered by BriefCam. So a little short intro to myself. I joined Bedroq last year, having spent the last 15 years working in policing myself. I was a counter-terrorism technical surveillance officer and then moved on to be the head of IT there from there. So a little bit about Bedroq. Bedroq were formerly known as Telemachus, working with police since 1994. We're a team of around 60, so somewhere between 50 and 60, mostly engineering staff. We have multiple UK data centres that are ISO accredited. They are Home Office approved data centres and police assured secure facilities. And that allows us to host products like BriefCam to make them accessible to police effectively. So we deliver managed service platforms in those data centres for CCTV, ANPR, video analytics, live facial recognition, and we also do control room fit outs as well. So today we're just going to be talking about Bedroq Seek, which is our video analytics platform powered by BriefCam. That is a system that we've been working with for quite some time. We have a really good partnership with BriefCam, and we've now delivered this to multiple forces. In the slideshow today, we're going to talk about a couple of those examples. One of them is Cumbria Police, who are using the system as live video analytics, but also retrospectively for investigations. They have tried and tested the system quite thoroughly for us, and we've developed some new things in partnership with them. So thank you to everybody at Cumbria Police for all of your involvement so far, and also for the testimonial videos, which we're going to be coming on to shortly. Also, a big thank you to Greater Manchester Police. They allowed us to use some of their CCTV cameras that we manage for them around Manchester city centre to actually create some of the demo footage that is in the slides today. So those are all being used with their permission. So what is Bedroq Seek BriefCam and how does it work? So effectively, it is like hiring a computer to watch thousands of hours of video footage for you. What it does is takes those video feeds and it identifies every single object on those streams. So that is people, animals, vehicles of all types, what people's clothing looks like, colours of things, the size of things, speed of things, the direction of travel, etc. And it stores all of that information in a database so that you can very quickly search it, or it can generate live alerts depending on what rule set you've given it, with the ultimate goal of solving more crimes more quickly, basically. Because all of that data is stored in a database, once you've processed the video and put it into the system, you never have to re-review it. So if you think of it this way, if you've got an investigation with 100 hours of CCTV to review, and that's going to take you approximately 100 hours to watch all of it properly, for an officer to sit there and spend the time thoroughly watching through it all, or maybe slightly less. They might watch it a little bit faster. But if the intelligence changes down the line and they need to re-review that, they're going to have to watch the whole thing again, because they've only been watching it looking for the first description that they were given. But then somebody's come in again and you know, there's been an intelligence update and they've got a different description. They're going to have to watch the whole thing again. Whereas with this system, once the footage is in the system, you can very, very quickly search again for a different description, and the results are almost instant. So I'm just going to play you a short video from Andy Petty. Andy is the CCTV manager at Cumbria Police, and they've been using this system very effectively. So I'll play that for you now.
We're using the Milestone operating system with Bedroq, but we've also got a piece of analytics software built into the Milestone operating system called BriefCam. It's video analytics, and it's got several functions that really enhance the capabilities of the CCTV operator. What it actually does is view the CCTV footage for us, either retrospectively on stored footage, or it will do it live time through the lens of the camera. And it's what we call object recognition. So it looks for objects. And when I say objects, I mean like it will look for a person, or it will look for a vehicle, or it will look for the color of someone's top. And that software will bring back all of the examples of an object that fits that description in minutes, because it can search through hundreds of hours worth of footage far quicker than a human operator could do it.
Thanks, Andy, for that. Integration, how can you get this system to work with your systems? So clearly, Cumbria Police have a full managed CCTV system based on Milestone with us at Bedroq, and therefore integration was really easy. So we do that for them. We manage both of the systems for them. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. If a customer has their own video management system, we can integrate with that. If they have no video management system at all, but just access to a bunch of third-party cameras, we can also run it on that. We can get video feeds from anywhere effectively. Every single video management system has a way of getting those feeds out and into the system. It's just a matter of us figuring that out for you, really. So the system doesn't rely on any of your internal resources, so your IT teams don't really need to be involved. We'd obviously need to go through a couple of change approvals and sign off with information security, etc. But we help you with all of that to let you focus on your operational work while we get the system running in the background. So we can also link it in with Force PNN networks, so you can actually access the system directly from your own desktops. We've been doing that with a couple of forces recently to help them process their disorder footage from the incidents in August. One of which actually is we've processed over 10,000 hours of footage for, which has resulted in over 1.1 million objects being detected, and they're now working through the results of that. So today we're going to talk about retrospective analysis and how we use the system to do that. So looking back over a case that has either happened in the past or that has literally happened in the last few minutes. So again, just going to stress, GMP have let us use some test footage with their permission. Thank you again for that. So you will see some live CCTV in some of the examples here. But first of all, I'm just going to go back to Andy to tell us about how Cumbria use Bedroq Seek for retrospective investigations.
It's taken the CCTV investigation to another level. The job takes probably about a minute to set up. You set it running and you leave it, and you can go away and do something else whilst that processing. When you come back to it, it's literally applying filters to the results to get through the data to find what you're looking for. Our force, like all forces, are inundated with third-party CCTV footage, people's mobile phones, ring doorbells, dash cams, to assist with investigations. This software will allow us to get through a lot more of that footage a lot quicker and get to that evidence that is really important.
Thanks again, Andy. So the filters that Andy's talking about there are called classes in the system. So this is the screen that you see when you go into a case, and it's showing you all of the objects all at once that have been detected. And the classes that Andy was talking about as filters are down the right hand side there. So we can use person attributes, we can use colour, size, speed, dwell, all that kind of thing. And there's also other tools that we're going to talk about built into the system as well. So let's give an example of using a class here. So what we're going to do is choose a man. As you can see from the options there, we just tick on man and click apply, and it's going to filter out from the 86,000 objects that it's got there across Manchester Centre, it's going to filter that down to only men. So as you can see there, it's down 30,489 instances of men across those cameras. And what we can do there is combine that with a person attribute to start filtering out results that we don't need. So we know our suspect's got a hat on, let's click on hat. And we're now down to 3,963 instances. And we can further narrow that down to, we know he was wearing a backpack as well. So we click that and we're straight away down to 990. If we combine that with things like colour or the size or any of the clothing attributes, so let's say the guy at the top there wearing a red coat, we would very, very quickly narrow it down to just people that we're interested in. So as an example of that, I'm actually in this footage, so we're just going to find myself in this footage. So we click on man, and then I know that I was wearing a long sleeve blue shirt at the time and some long brown trousers. So we click onto that there and then click apply. And as you can see there, I found myself very, very quickly across those 86,000 objects. There's 105 that meet my description. And yeah, from there, we've found it really, really quickly. Now, what we could actually do with that is we could add that to a report. So it's effectively like bookmarking it. And then we could bookmark every instance that we found of me. And basically it'll do an automated report at the end. It will also export a almost like a case pack. So in there you get a still image JPEG, you get the very short 30-second clip of each instance that's found of me, but you also get a short clip of the original master copy as well. Which is just really useful for you to stitch together into any kind of reports that you're generating, etc. So just another example of using one of the class filters. We can really quickly filter down to just people on bicycles just by clicking that. We can do the same thing with any of the others, and we'll come on to some examples a bit later on. So another tool is the path tool. What we can do with this is we can actually draw on the screen the path that we're interested in, so the path of travel for an object or a person. So we just click onto the path tool, literally just draw a line on roughly in the direction of travel that we're interested in, and then we click apply in the bottom corner, and it will filter down to just objects that have travelled that path. And what we can do is we can actually combine that with the class. So if you just wanted to say bicycles, we can do that. And there we go, we've got the bike that's travelled in the right direction. We can actually get the system as well to generate us a short video of that result, just so we can actually see it in its true context. And then when we reset that filter, it shows us every object that has travelled in that direction as well. So another thing that we can do with paths is we can actually get it to show us a visual layer of all the paths that have been travelled. So we want effectively showing us like a heat map of where people have travelled on that scene. So the system is now generating that based on what filters we've got applied. So I've not got any filters at the moment, but I could actually choose just show us every path that's been travelled by bicycle, and it would regenerate the same result. Based on just that data, but as you can see here, it's just showing us the most commonly travelled paths in that area. So the next tool to talk about is the area tool. What we can do with this is we can actually just draw a box of an area within that scene that we're interested in. So we literally just click 4 points on there for a 4-sided, or we could have chosen the triangular tool and just done a 3-sided shape. And we just click apply on there, and it shows us everything that's been into that area, which is obviously quite a lot of results. And in this example, we're looking for something that's gone and turned right into that car park. So to narrow it down a little bit, what we're going to do is go back into the area tool and choose a minimum duration. So let's choose, say, 5 seconds and pop that in there. Click apply, apply again, and it's going to only show us things that have been in that box for a minimum of 5 seconds. So as you can see, it's narrowed it down to things that are traveling much slower in that area. So if we want to further narrow it down, we can just change that duration again. So we go back into the tool, choose the duration, set it as 10 seconds, for example, click apply, and it's further narrowed it down from 96 to 51 results. So we've now only got things that are traveling very slowly within that box and people walking. Perfect. So we can also use the area tool to show us people or objects or vehicles that shouldn't be in an area. What we're going to do is do the same thing and draw an area on here. This is actually a pedestrian only zone within Manchester Centre, so there shouldn't be any vehicles at all in this area. So we're going to draw a box first. It's going to show us everything that's been in the area. There's some animals, there's lots of people, but we're going to choose van. We're going to click apply, and then it's going to find us. There's an example there of a van that shouldn't have been there. It's obviously some delivery driver who can't be bothered walking a little bit further. What we could have done with this as well is that could easily be a live alert. So if you've got a protective area on some live CCTV that you, let's say you've got an event on, and you need to know if a vehicle tries to approach an area where it shouldn't be, then the system can alert you as well. As you can see, it's even reading the license plate of the vehicle as it's being detected. So onto the line crossing tool then. It's very simple. We can just click on the line cross tool, put a couple of dots onto the screen. So again, we're looking for things that have turned into that car park there. So we change the direction just by clicking on the direction button, click apply, and it's going to show us things that have gone from the left hand side and crossed over that line into the car park. Including a vehicle that we're looking for there. So another thing we can do to that is obviously we've got some people on those results. So if you were talking thousands of results here, which we're not, but we can show how we can filter people out. So all we do is we go onto the class tool at the top and we just choose vehicles, click apply, and there you go. Instantly filtered it down to only vehicles. So we can also combine this with an area filter. So we want to see things that have travelled in that box and then turned right into that car park. So it's now just instantly narrowed it down to only vehicles and one person who have both been in that box and turned into that car park. So if you imagine this in you had a surveillance feed looking at somebody's house, you could very easily draw an area of interest on their garden path or put a line across their front door, and the system would very, very quickly show you a historic view of every time that person has been into that box. Or you could filter it by men. So in an OP, you could ask it to only show you male subjects that have been in and out of the house. You could also have that as a live alert. So you could have it set going to the investigating officer. Every time a male comes in and out of an address, it could send them an email or even just log it into the system, and you could review it retrospectively later on. So quickly onto license plate recognition then. This system is able to do license plate recognition by reading the plates from the camera. It's not a full replacement for ANPR, I must stress that, because ANPR cameras are very specialist. They work in extremely low light conditions to pick out the plate, whereas this will just use any CCTV camera that you get, and it will effectively just read the text off of the screen. So if the camera can't see the number plate, it won't be able to magically read it, is what I'm saying. It is very, very effective though, and I know that Cumbria have had a lot of success with this. So what we can do is we can add a plate of interest. So we're going to go down to the bottom there, go into add plate, and we can just type in that Range Rover example that I found earlier on, and then click add, and then apply, and it will find us all instances of seeing that on that camera. So we can just click to play that, or what we can actually do is we can reset it, go back in and get it to show us all of the plates that it's seen on that, which is really useful because you might have a good idea of, you know, some of the characters in the plate, or you know, maybe a witness has seen part of the plate, and you could very quickly just show them every single number plate that's in that scene, just to maybe get the extra characters. So we can also widen the search from here, so we can tick that one that we're interested in and add it to our plate recognition, or we could have just typed it in again. Click apply, and then we can choose the source at the top and ask it to look across all of those cameras and see if we find it anywhere else. Click apply there, and as you can see, it's found another result from a different camera. So when we click onto that, you'll see a blue box in the top right hand corner there. Now the system obviously isn't able to read the plate at that distance, but it is clever enough to know that that plate at some point belongs to that vehicle. So it, as you can see, it pairs things up together really nicely and gives you a historic picture. So facial recognition, this system has built-in facial recognition. And if you think of this example in like a missing persons case, so what we're going to do is find me in this footage again. So this is looking at all cameras across Manchester. So we're just going to upload a picture, a little bit sort of like one that you would probably get from social media or something. We upload it into the system, it analyzes it, and then we click on it to choose that face of interest. We click on to apply, and it searches all of the cameras for any results involving me. And as you can see, that's found in that short space of time results from multiple cameras. Now what we can do there is pause the result and just do a side-by-side comparison from our reference image. And what we can do is add the face from that clip into the face rec again, click apply, and what the system will then do is search again based on those results to find more results within the video. So if you think of that as in, let's say if it finds an example of a subject who had a beard and then on the footage they've shaved it off, well, if you confirm to the system that that is correct and you add that one into facial recognition, it will search again and it might find some more results. So really powerful tool, really useful for things like missing persons or identifying people from you know, public disorder, that kind of thing. So the more results, as you can see, that we go through, the more times we confirm results, the more results that we actually get until the system exhausted and found them all. So another thing that we can do is called appearance similarity, and that is a little bit like facial recognition, but it's actually recognizing the whole person. So it's matching them based on their size, the classes that they meet, so clothing, you know, all that kind of thing. I'll go on to the example. So what we've got is our results, and we need to just find one that we're interested in. So I can see me in the middle there. So we click on to play, and we can see, yep, that's the person that we're interested in. Where else has he been? So we click on to add me onto appearance similarity, and instantly across that one camera, it's found multiple other instances of me. But what we can do then is widen the search again, and it'll search across all of Manchester. And as you can see there, it's got a bunch of results of me all over Manchester, plus a few other people who are wearing similar clothing, are of a similar size, etc. But across 86,000 results, we've very, very quickly narrowed it down to just 44 instances that we can then manually review. We can add them to a report, etc., or we could download the individual clips and share them with colleagues very, very quickly. So I'm just going to go back to Andy, who's just going to quickly tell us about how Cumbria have been using the appearance similarity in real world cases.
We had a case last week on an attempted snatch, and it was a lady that had gone to take some cash out from an ATM, and as she withdrew the cash, the guy next to her tried to snatch it out of her hand. Because of where the camera was and the distance to the ATM, the actual incident was very small and you couldn't really make out much detail. It wasn't a great image, but it was good enough to see that he was wearing a black t-shirt and blue jeans, but wasn't good enough to make a visual identification. In old terms, we'd have probably left it there and sent that footage off to the investigators. But what this system allowed me to do was to say, I'm going to now take 4 or 5 hours before and after the incident from several cameras in Workington and load that footage into the system. That produced 38,000 objects. It probably took less than an hour to do that search and about a minute to find the suspect in that 38,000 objects. And I didn't just find him once, I found him 5 or 6 times. And some of those images were far clearer, and that chap was arrested the next day.
Thanks again to Andy for all of your help with these videos. Thank you very much. So the last feature that I'm going to talk about today, bearing in mind there are many other features of this system, but we'd be here all day talking about it if I could. The last one I'm going to talk about today is video synopsis. So video synopsis allows you to review a lot of CCTV in a very short space of time. So as you can see, what it's doing here is it's playing back all of the objects that it's detected all at once. Now, none of these things were clearly here at the same time, which is why you can see things with a timestamp on them. And what we can actually do is, when we see an object of interest, is click onto it and focus in on that, and it will show us the resulting video of just that object. Another thing that we can do from there is we can actually click to play the original video, so see that object in its original context with the things that were actually around it at the time, and the system's just putting a little box around it there so you can follow it through the video. Now, another thing that we can do with this feature is we can actually go and apply some classes to that as well. So in this example, we'll choose car, and then we'll choose for white, for example. Click on that and click apply, and it's going to generate a new video of only white vehicles that have crossed in this camera in this space of time. So as you can see right at the top there, we've got 10 AM to 12:20, so 2 hours 20 worth of footage. And it's gone away in that short space of time. It's found every white vehicle and created a brand new video lineup of just those cars. So what you can actually do with this tool is, if you can get it to play you everything that's happened in one video clip all at once, or just specifically the things that you're interested in. So let's say if you've got 100 hours worth of CCTV footage from a city centre, but you know that your suspect is a male, then you can click on the male class, the man class, sorry, and it will just play you all of the instances of men walking in that scene, and that's going to be much quicker than manually watching all of that footage. So we're just going to have a check if we've got any questions today. So let's see. So I've just got the one so far, which is how can it integrate into video management systems that are not Milestone? So yeah, sorry, we've given the example right at the start there of Cumbria using it with Milestone. Yes, it does integrate perfectly with Milestone, but it also integrates with other video management systems as well. It supports over 20 of the major video management platforms straight out of the box, but there are also ways to get it out of get feeds out of other video management systems that aren't on the natively supported list into the system. We can actually help you bring cameras directly into the system, either live or retrospectively. For retrospective investigations, you can upload any CCTV footage. There's a wide range of supported formats. but any that aren't natively on that supported format list, we can actually just convert the footage and upload it for you. So yeah, that's it. Thanks very much. If you need some more information on that, please do get in touch with me directly or via the Bedroq website. So we've got another webinar coming up in December, which is on the, excuse me one second, which is on Thursday, the 12th of December. Thank you all for joining today. Please keep an eye on our social media and our website for more information ahead of the next webinar. Cara will be emailing you all out a recording of the video as well. And for anybody who couldn't make it, if you want to discuss any of the features that you've seen today or talk about us potentially doing a proof of concept with your force, we will gladly do so. We can help you do that to prove a business case. And yeah, please get in touch. Thanks, everybody.